Okay, this is another test video for a different app.
Turn right on 441st Avenue.
Yeah, I'm not going that way.
Continue on this
Alright,
road
yeah, I
for
like this
16
guy, he's
miles.
pretty cool.
You know what she said? Because of cockism? That's what she said to me. And I said, well, then you're a prostitute. You know what she said? Because of cockism? That's what she said to me. And I said, well, then you're a prostitute.
And judging people and calling them prostitute number one, I'm totally offended.
What's up, YouTube? Portland Podcast back with another video. Today's video is going to be Mark Rudolph destroys entitled feminist. Okay, before I get to the video though, got to do YouTube stuff. The goal is 65,000 subscribers by July. It's a crazy goal, it's a big goal, but it's my goal. I know when I'm gonna get to my goals if you give me the HBO special. Do you know what the HBO special is? That's the Help a Brother Out special. Alright, so go ahead and help a brother out. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. But can y'all second to do that?
Yeah, if I make this public, you know, give me the HBO special too, help a brother out. Anyways, this is the guy that gave me the idea to do this, so here we go. Oops.
Alright, now let's get to the video. Mark Rudolph destroys entitled feminists. Let's see what he gotta say.
When women get into their 40s, they realize that the way they've been trained, which is to expect whining and dining, it gets them dates, it doesn't get them respect. If I meet somebody and she has an attitude of entitlement, and she has the audacity to expect anything simply because she's a woman, she's eliminated immediately. The only thing stopping you from achieving what you want in life is you. Everything is out there, all the resources are out there. I don't want to hear the excuses.
I bear your children. I mean, you don't give childbirth. You don't have a period. You talk about PMS. If a woman walks into a boardroom, you have no idea what it's like to bleed for 5 days. You would be out of your freaking mind if you bled.
I was in a bar talking to a woman, and so she said, let me
Never trust anything that bleeds 5 days out of a month consecutively and still lives.
understand something. If we go on a vacation, you expect me to pay my way? I said, yes. She said, well, then you're not getting any sex. I said, let me ask you something. If you go on a vacation by yourself, do you pay? Yes. If you go on a vacation with your girlfriend, do you pay? Yes. If you go on a vacation with a girlfriend who earns more than you do you pay? Yes. I said, so how come all of a sudden when a cock is involved, you're poor? And you know what she said? Because a cock is involved. That's what she said to me. And I said, well, then you're a prostitute.
I don't believe in judging people and calling them prostitute number one. I'm totally offended.
All I said was, and I want you to understand this point, a woman who feels...
Now, I kind of agree with that, and I kind of don't agree with that. You know, if she goes with her friend and she has to pay and her friend pays and they have sex, you know, because most women are probably bisexual anyways, so chances are it's probably going to happen. Then that would be the difference. But, you know, if a woman goes with a guy on a date or a vacation and she wants a free ride and she trades that free ride for sex, but she's not really interested in the guy, then yes, that would make her a prostitute. But you know, if you're exchanging money for sex, that would make you a prostitute. But if you're genuinely interested in the guy, then sex is a moot point, whether you have to pay or not. So if you're married and the money is joint, and the woman makes money and the guy makes money, and both their money is in the same bank or okay, I'm still recording. Cool, that was a good test. The money's still in the same pocket. You know, you both make money, you both put it in the same whatever, you both go on a vacation together, you're both paying for it, and you're both intimate on said vacation. What's the difference between that and splitting the bill 50-50 when you're dating and still having sex? So I get both sides, but that would be my interpretation of, yeah, you know what I mean.
Feels entitled to be wined and dined because she's a woman. So, who is in essence trading sex for money, is a prostitute. That's what prostitutes do. And there are women who don't say, I'll pay half, I'll pay my own way. They say, I'm just not paying anything. And that's what I'm talking about.
There's also women who won't pay anything, they expect the guy to pay anything, and they won't have sex with the guy because they're not interested in the guy. They're only interested in the free ride. All right, let's see what our man's got to say here.
And he makes a good point there. And no one cares if you're offended, okay? No one cares if you're offended. In fact, I am offended that you are offended.
I'm offended that you're offended. Oh, advertisement. Advertising causes me therapy.
I am offended that you are offended. Me personally, I'm a traditional guy, okay? So I believe that men should pay, but only for women who are also traditional. The problem with today is there are a lot of women, especially women that are part of this quote-unquote
Yes, trad wives.
equality movement that still demand men to pay for their meals, that still demand men to die on the battlefield for them, that still demand men to open doors for them. Okay, you can't want equality and then contradict yourself by expecting things like for people to pay for your dinner.
Exactly.
You can't work and be a capitalist. You can't be a capitalist in your work life in terms of fight for equal wage, which has been debunked a million times, even on this channel. I have videos on me debunking the wage gap. It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science. There is a wage gap, but it's not what you're thinking. You know, like he says, the wage gap has been debunked. But the problem is we're making about the same amount of money. Like example, I'm a truck driver. A female truck driver makes the same amount of money as I do. All right. The difference is if I go out on a date with a female truck driver, you know, say I sign up to truckerdate.com and I find a woman on there and we go out on a date and I pay for everything, that's the wage gap, because we make the same amount of money yet I'm paying all the bills, then she gets to keep all her money and I'm broke. That's the wage gap. But anyways, here we go.
It's common sense that the wage gap has no merit at all. But you can't be a capitalist in your work life and then try to be a socialist in your dating life. Okay? It doesn't work that way. So too many times do I see, and this is kind of the relationship between men, right? And this is why I understand the MGTOW argument, because there are a lot of women who want to be treated traditionally, but they don't want to be traditional women. And when I say, I mean, there are men that they want men to take on those traditional roles, but they're not willing to also take on what it used to be a woman, what it used to mean to be a woman. Okay, and this is kind of like, you ever done something for somebody that you didn't have to do, but you did it anyway, and you've done it so many times that the one time you decide to not do it, they assume that they're upset with you, basically. You've pampered them so much to the point where now that you don't want to do that one thing for this one day, they're upset with you. This is the relationship between men and women when it comes to paying for dates. So many times have men done it to the point where women now expect it, and it's not seen as it's not seen as a favor anymore. It's not seen as something that is just expected. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just a little different dynamic when you begin to expect it instead of seeing it as a favor, which is what it is. And instead of seeing it as
I like Doc Love's perspective. Basically, you know, you go out on a coffee date first. Your first date should be a coffee date. You know, don't spend too much money. Weed out the, what do they call them? Mercenaries. Because mercenaries are only after you for your money. They're not interested in you. They're interested in the free ride. So you want to weed out the mercenaries. The best way to do that is start out with cheap dates. So if you're a woman listening and a guy is a cheap date, at first, give him some time. Maybe he's just trying to filter you out to see if you're a mercenary or not. You know, mercenaries won't waste their time on a guy with a coffee date. I got a philosophy that I've just kind of started, and it basically goes like this. First date, don't spend more than $5 on a woman. Second date, don't spend more than $10 on a woman. Third date, don't spend more than $15 on a woman. So on and so forth. You know, that's a good way to weed out the mercenaries. They say if a woman's genuinely interested in you or genuinely not interested in you, she'll filter you out by the second or third date. So start out cheap, and then once she's your girlfriend, then you start spending money on her. You know, don't spend money, don't waste money on a woman who's not yours. Couple things there. Basically, don't buy a woman any gifts. Don't give her any presents. Don't give her any gifts. Nothing until she's your girlfriend. And she has to ask you to be the girlfriend, not the other way around. And if she don't ask you to be the girlfriend by the 8th or 10th date, then she's just using you. So anyway, yeah. Okay. So, if you think she's a mercenary, you know, on the second date or maybe even the third date, ask her to go Dutch. You know, if she's willing to go Dutch, then she's not a mercenary. If she isn't willing to go Dutch, she's probably a mercenary. Some women get offended by that just because they're brainwashed. But again, do you want somebody who's brainwashed, or do you want somebody who's a flexible giver? But so maybe even that, you know, first date, coffee date. Second date, go Dutch. Third date, you pay for everything, so on and so forth. Now, Doc Love says if she asks you out, then she pays. So make sure that's pretty clear. You know, like, so maybe the second date you go Dutch, okay? I don't know. Doc Love is against that. He says never go Dutch. He says if she offers to go Dutch, you say, I tell you what, next time you ask me out and I'll let you pay. I ask you out, I pay. You ask me out, I pay. That's Doc Love's philosophy. So, you know, kind of work out your own theory on what works, but somewhere in there is the ballpark. Okay, here we go.
the gesture. Like, you don't want to do that one thing for this one day. They're upset with you. This is the relationship between men and women when it comes to paying for dates. So many times have men done it to the point where women now expect it, and it's not seen as it's not seen as a favor anymore. It's not seen as something that it's just expected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I went out on a friend date with a girl not too long ago, and I should have made her pay, but I screwed up. All right. She asked me out. That's my boss.
ST19 number, and then turn right at 0.4 miles.
I'll call him back. Anyway, she asked me out.
Turn right on 446th Avenue, ST19.
She asked me out, and but I didn't make her clear.
For 17.
I didn't make her aware of the said rule, where the woman pays if she asks a guy out. Most women probably aren't privy to this rule. Most guys ain't privy to the rule. Well, but I did only have 20 bucks in my pocket, you know. I told her, because I forgot my wallet. I was out visiting my father. I just happened to be in the area. And she wanted to go out and hang out. So, and she was just a friend, you know. But this friend is kind of feminist-minded, you know, handout, entitlement-minded. And so I told her, I says, you know, I only got 20 bucks. You know, I left my wallet in my big truck. I was driving my mom's car at the time because I was getting, I don't remember what was going on that weekend. I think I was supposed to get my truck worked on, or maybe I did get my truck worked on. I can't remember what happened, but I left my wallet behind. And so she offered to go Dutch. And I was like, okay. And I should have held her to it, but I didn't, right? Okay. So we went out for Chinese, and the bill happened to be less than 20 bucks. So I throw the money down, you know, because that's what I got, you know. And I think the change was like $2.50 or something like that. Now, what happened? Oh, sorry. Okay. So, I lost my train of thought. So the change was $2 and some change. And she just assumed I was going to pay for everything. And didn't even offer to put it down to tip. You know? And I didn't say anything. I just went ahead and left the 20, left the change there for a tip. You know, because I'm a gentleman. But, you know, I normally tip like 20 bucks. I mean, not 20 bucks, 20%. If the waitress is a decent waitress or waiter. Now, the tip that we ended up leaving the girl was just over 10%. And I thought, you know, at least my friend should have put down $1 or $2 for a tip. I mean, she did offer to go Dutch, and I don't remember whose bill was actually higher, hers or mine. I got a meal, and she got the buffet. So, that's all I remember. Anyways, so, yeah. She should have at least offered to put down a tip. But she didn't even do that. She just like, hey, free lunch or free dinner, free ride, yay, yay me. You know, like somebody told me recently, and this is something guys got to be aware of. Women grow up being taught to look out for themselves. Guys grow up being taught to look out for women. So the problem is we have a one-way street here, and it's backwards. You know, if if women are looking out for themselves, then guys need to start looking out for themselves. Not the other way around. Guys only need to be looking out for women that are looking out for them. Anyway, am I still recording? Looks like it. Okay, let's finish this video.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just a little different dynamic when you begin to expect it instead of seeing it as a favor, which is what it is. Instead of seeing it as a gesture of trying to get to know somebody, which is what it is, you now expect it. But let's continue the video and see what he has to say.
If I invite you out to dinner, I'm going to pay because you're my guest. Because I think it's important that you don't take what I say and take it over.
That's what I just said. If I invite you to dinner, I pay because you're my guest. If you invite me to dinner, you pay because I'm your guest.
Sex.
Right.
They're giving sex to a man for money.
Right.
That's a different thing.
No, that's
than
exactly
taking
what
out
I'm talking
somebody for a gift at dinner because you're attracted to somebody. It's a romantic feeling you're having with them.
You're taking what I said out of context, and I'm not going to allow you to do that. What I said was, if I invite a woman out to dinner, I'm going to pay because she's my guest. If she feels entitled to that because she's a female, so after the date, her attitude is, thank you very much, I had a wonderful time. Where are you taking me next time? That's an attitude of entitlement. Then, all relationships are going to be sexual. So essentially, she's getting all of the financial goodies in return for sex. If she doesn't have an attitude of reciprocity, then she isn't prostitute. My point, do you understand my point that if there's reciprocity, there's no problem? There's no problem if there's reciprocity. I'm talking about the cases where women refuse to reciprocate because they don't think they have to. Please understand that point. That's the essence of what I'm discussing here. There are women like that who say, I don't have to pay. I'm a woman. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a sense of entitlement.
Yes. And that's exactly what this woman I was just talking about, this friend of mine, said to another friend of mine. Now, they were talking about marijuana, but that's her mentality with everything. And I think she said something similar to me at one time. You know, she told my friend, says, girls don't gotta pay for marijuana. You know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember the details that he told me, but that's basically what he said about the same friend that I'm talking about, who has said similar things to me. And basically, she has that attitude where, oh, I'm a woman, I don't gotta pay for nothing. I can always get a man to pay for it. And I had another girlfriend who was actually my girlfriend for a little while. I got rid of her because she was worthless. But anyways, she told me any woman can find an older man to take care of her. And she's probably right. You know, it's probably true. Any woman can find a man to take care of them. But is it going to be a quality relationship? Probably not. But you don't know, you know? I mean, I don't know. But, you know, it's hard telling. You know, it all depends on what you want from the relationship. Like this guy's talking about, you know, women being prostitutes if their mannerism is a certain way or not. And, you know, maybe that's what some guys want, you know, and that's fine if that's what you want. You know, if you're rich and you got money and you're just looking for a woman to be your servant, you know, your sex slave, and a woman's willing to do that for the money because you got money and she don't, and she's got sex appeal, and she's willing to have sex with you because you got money, hey, everybody's happy. It's fair trade, you know. But as long as all the cards are on the table, you know, that's what it boils down to. You know, she's not manipulating him, he's not manipulating her. They both know what they're getting out of the relationship. She's getting the money, he's getting the sex and the sex appeal, blah, blah, blah. You know, some guys, that's what they want, trophy wives, and that's what they pay for. You know, to each their own. You know, as long as all the cards are on the table and everybody's getting what they want out of the relationship, or they know what they're getting out of the relationship, hey, you know, I guess that's fine. Alright, anyways, there we go.
That's right, the sense of entitlement, and there are guys who think that they have to go along because they think it's the only choice they have.
That's not the only choice you got.
They don't have to go along. They have other choices. Just tell those women, bye-bye.
Exactly. Big,
Hasta la vista,
and
baby.
Just going into that a little bit more, final thoughts on the video. When he talks about reciprocity, every time I hear like women, when guys take, when men take women on dates, they go, well, he just expected sex and this and that. Well, reciprocity doesn't have to be sex. Maybe reciprocity is you showing or sending giving him a card or something, you know, so showing that you really truly appreciate it, like giving him a gift, a small gift. Maybe reciprocity is returning the favor by next time, instead of him expecting him to take you on an expensive date, you go save your money.
There you go. That would be what Doc Love would call a flexible giver. Someone who does reciprocity, if I got that word right. Hang on, let me roll on that.
I'll cook a meal for you. You come over to the house and we can, you know, have wine or whatever and watch a show. Maybe instead of him expecting him to take you on an expensive date, you go save your money. I'll cook a meal for you. You come over to the house and we can, you know, have wine or whatever and watch a show. Maybe that's reciprocity, a cheap way to do
reciprocity.
Okay, that's how you show your appreciation for something that someone does for you. It doesn't have to always be sex. I'm sure a lot of guys would like it to be that way. All right, but it doesn't always happen.
Some guys, not all guys, you know, nice guys or good guys don't expect sex until you're the girlfriend. Then they expect sex. I mean, you know, that's the way I am. If a woman gives it up too early, then I think she's a hoe. If a woman has a higher body count than I do, I think she's a hoe. You know? So, you know, I look for a trad wife, a traditional woman. Somebody who's not loose and not easy. But, you know, if we're in a relationship, you know, once you're my girlfriend, yeah, then, you know, that's when I would expect sex. Some people expect to wait till they get married, and that's fine, you know, as long as those cards are on the table up front. Again, like I said a minute ago. But if the cards aren't on the table up front, then we got a problem.
Have to be that way. So there are other ways to go about showing reciprocity that women just don't want to do because they feel like the meal is supposed to be given to them, which is a big difference. All right, they feel like it just has to be that way, and unfortunately, a lot of guys feel like it has to be that way. But more and more men in 2021 are waking up and starting to understand that the game is rigged.
The game is rigged
for men to fail. It's rigged against men. And we could go through statistics in terms of how bad it is to be a man, in terms of violent crime rates, in terms of suicide, in terms of depression, in terms of workplace deaths, in terms of pretty much we get the bad end of the stick on almost everything. Okay, so we could do that, but it's not necessary. But women expect for men to not only die for them on the battlefield, which historically speaking men have done by the hundreds of millions, but also cater to their every whim with no reciprocity in modern society, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. But that's all I got to say about this video. My boy Mark did he put it down again. Until next time.
Continue on this road for 57
Alright.
miles.
That's the Poor Man's Podcast. Hang on.
If you've thought about starting an Amazon business, but you don't have the time to